and put your little hand in mine. There ain't no hill or mountain we can't climb. Babe, I've got you, babe. I've got you, babe. Okay, campers, rise and shine. Don't forget your booties because it's cold out there today.
It's cold out there every day. What is this, Miami Beach?
Not hardly, and you expect hazardous travel later today. What with that blizzard thing?
That blizzard thing. Oh, yes, I've got the National Weather Report right here that says we can expect a big blizzard thing.
That's correct. And you know what? It's because you still don't get the line right, so that's correct. And you know what makes today especially exciting?
Especially cold.
Wait, did I skip the chap lips part?
No, it's now.
And okay, yeah.
God damn it!
You know how you were just having to talk about, Mike, how your wires are crossed?
Damn it!
So it's like, oh yeah, so
just say
the question on everybody's lips.
They're chapped lips.
Yes, they're chapped lips. Is will Phil come out and see his shadow?
Punxatawney Phil.
That's right, Woodchuck Chuckers. It's Groundcast Day.
The Groundhog Day Podcast.
We.
Come on, shake your hog out there. That's your line too.
Yeah, probably.
You're supposed to say, go on, shake your hog out there. You never say it. Hi, Bobby. It's Randy.
I'm Randy. That's Bobby.
It's Saturday, June 29th, 2019. Trump's still in office.
It's 8:19 p.m. We just watched a 2-hour and 19-minute thing that we'll talk about at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Of our usual discussion.
Well, no, because now... I
want to talk about the movie first.
I want to say what it is right now because to explain this.
We watched a bootleg of the 2017-2018 Broadway production run of a little musical known as Groundhog Day, the musical.
And the reason why I think it's pertinent to bring that up now is because it has caused many wires to be crossed in our brains. We can't quite remember what's happened in this movie, even though I just watched it yesterday.
It's a good point to pause, and all cast must leave the
stage.
Hey, everybody, I'm Randy, and here's Bobby.
No. And look,
put yours hand in mine.
God.
No hill or mountain we can climb, babe.
God, that was bad.
Oh my God.
So,
yeah, we watched a Broadway bootleg.
Yeah, so if today I feel like I can't quite say what happened in the movie as well, that's why.
If you can't articulate.
Randy's been trying to bother me about what his big point is that he learned today.
Not a big point. It's just
you mentioned it's important several times.
No, I said it's something that I just noticed,
Okay.
but I wanted to go back and let's go to you today. And actually, let's first go to how was your watch of the film?
I watched it yesterday on Memorable. I got really drunk last night.
My watch was interesting to say the least because first off, I thought we were gonna have to delay recording because inexplicably, my copy of Groundhog Day disappeared. And I spent an hour looking for it just to find it exactly in a spot where I leave it every week, but it wasn't there because I clearly checked on top of the PlayStation.
Clearly a ghost moved it. And then
that was that's what I said. I'm like, it's like these goblins, gremlins, gnomes, little people, whatever you want to call them, keep moving my shit. Stop playing pranks on me. Even they know that too much Groundhog Day, our 30th watch, by the way, is too much Groundhog Day.
By the way, now the show is now officially elderly because it's over 30.
Nobody's going to get that stuff because those are older stuff.
Nobody knows our meta references. Oh, well.
Oh, well.
So tell me what you want.
So my watch of it, and then after that, I'm like, oh, crap. He's going to be here fast. I better watch this.
I like how we're acting like this is a job. And
I watched it at 1.5 speed.
Typical watch.
No, I usually, about the halfway point, the last third of the movie, I'm like, I can't take this anymore. And I do it. And I watched it like that. I'm like, okay. Yeah. I took a 5-minute break at the point when the old man dies, which is literally like 10 minutes away from the end of the movie because I couldn't take it anymore.
I can't take it no more. You're pretty bad times for me.
Yeah, that was my watching of the movie. Like I said, first Gremlin stealing my damn copy of Groundhog Day, and then...
It's a groundhog, though.
Oh, God. Imagine I just have an invisible groundhog walking around my house now.
So, what did you want to say? Tell us.
So, no, let's go back to your thing before we do that yet.
My thing is not that important.
Yeah, I know, but you brought it up.
I had this idea. I was thinking, I was watching the movie, and I just remembered there was a scene, which we all know from the Creepy Date, where they're in the hotel room, and Rita's going, oh, Phil, I should really go. And he's like, going, no, stay. And then, of course, it leads to him getting all rapey and her slapping him. And at the end of the movie, when they wake up and... Randy's gonna play some copyrighted music, so this gets a flag on it.
No, I played 4 seconds.
Should Rita stay or should she go now? But yeah, at the end of the movie when they wake up together, he's like, "You're here." She's like, "I'm here." He's like, "Why did you stay?" She's like, "You told me to stay, so I stayed." And I was just like, "Huh? There's something significant."
Wow, that's a callback to the date.
I told you.
Wow.
I told you.
Bob, you've got to let me know. Should Rita stay or should she go? Oh my God. Well,
because if she stayed, if she left, there would be trouble. But if she stayed, it would be double. He would have raped her violently right there. But
probably, unfortunately, yeah.
But and I think that, and wasn't there something involving?
All you did was that.
Nancy?
Something about it.
No, there's something involving. Was there something involving Nancy and staying?
And then our goal for episode 52 is that we have to be able to repeat the entire movie from our
line for line verbatim. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So that was it. I noticed that callback with the word "stay." I thought there was another instance where "stay" is used as well, but I can't remember anymore.
I'll keep an eye out for that next week.
Keep in mind the word "stay" and see how it's used.
Because I told you what I wanted to do was starting on my next watch. I want to watch it at regular speed with subtitles so that I can recite the entire movie.
But as we know that
the subtitles aren't perfect, but it'll give me at least a framework to work off of. Because I'm more visual, I need the words in front of me, not just hearing it over and over.
You should just write them down as they're said.
Yeah, I could do that, but I'm a slow typer.
Oh well.
It's when I can start writing it from memory.
Okay.
At what is it?
I don't really want to waste brain cells on this movie. I'm like taking.
We've
classes.
Already wasted brain cells on this
things.
movie.
I'm not gonna learn. It's bad enough you got me to learn that intro.
Okay, campers, rise and shine. Don't forget your boots because it's cold out there today.
I'm out there every day, which is Miami Beach.
Not hardly. And he says, hazardous travel later today. What with that blizzard thing?
Dude, I'm not doing this again. We're killing time now.
Okay, so there's a small little thing I noticed early on in the movie. This isn't the mind-blowing. This isn't the doozy.
Okay.
This is...
Randy's been talking about that doozy.
Oh, boy. It's something I noticed right at the end of it. So, no, this is the first thing I noticed during my watch of this movie at 1.5 speed. On the first day...
Wait, sorry. I want to call back. Do you want to stay and eat dinner with me and Larry? Did she say stay?
Do you want to have dinner with me and Larry?
Fuck. I know there's...
No, I've seen him eat.
I know there was another instance of the word stay, but please go on.
It's a very common word. I've said it like 6 times today.
I was just focused on it now.
I guess I'm going to stay here to wait for Bobby.
That's all I could think about. Anyway.
So, yeah, no, the first thing I noticed, because I never noticed this on previous viewings, was, when Phil's doing the countdown on his first day, repetition of February 1st?
Of course.
So 2nd, he does... No, you know, that very specific sequence where it's the February 2nd the first time, and he has doing the countdown, and he goes, 1, 2, 3. He flips him off, just subtly flips him off. He doesn't turn his whole hand, but it's just on the mic, he flips him the bird. I noticed that. That's not the blind mowing.
I thought we talked about that, back in episode 8 or something.
We may have, but I
forgot it and
I have forgotten
relearned it.
more about this movie than I have learned in life.
Okay.
I have watched this movie, Bobby, for 10,000 years.
What if you actually had
every day?
What if you had to relive the same day over and over, but you had to watch this movie every day?
When Ned takes me down to hell, this is gonna be what he's gonna make me do. He's gonna put me in front of a TV with my eyes glued open. He's like, you gotta watch.
Way to hell. See, we can soundtrack this whole movie. Fuck.
But the mind blowing thing.
Yeah.
So, February the 3rd. They wake up in bed, and Rita's with him.
Mm-hmm.
She stayed, as we were just talking about. And they're having their conversation, and he looks at Rita, and he goes, I have to find the line because we had a bunch of other stuff between them.
Okay.
Oh, Rita goes, oh, Phil, why weren't you like that last night? So right, implying they didn't have sex, they're all clothed.
That's right.
So... After he does a little speech about it's been a really long day, and they start kissing, and the camera pans away as they continue to kiss, they were boning. They had a little early morning nookie.
The one of their cameramen kneeling over them.
Yeah, no. After that, because the camera, they start making out, and then the camera pans away to the window, and then when they go outside, it's even brighter outside than it was already at 7:00 in the morning. They were boning. That was my doozy. I'm like, wait, they're having sex.
Wow. Yeah.
that was a realization. I never caught that before. I'm like, wait.
Well, it's Randy's headcanon now.
I'll put it back on. We'll pause it right here. We'll leave the stage.
Please,
I'll put it
by
on.
all means. Now that's gonna enter our lexicon. Leave the stage. I had to leave the stage.
We're gonna have to stop here for a moment. All cast members, please leave the stage.
That was so disturbing to me. I felt like.
And then the red lights. It's like, did somebody have a heart attack? Okay, so now we talked about Groundhog Day and some waffling.
Our contractually
and now,
obligated amount of time.
No, we should be talking about more of it, but because our brains are getting mixed up with them, like a groundhog with a giant flail, I'm gonna whack you up inside the head.
A shovel.
And we're gonna go straight to
Groundhog Day the musical.
Groundhog Day the musical. This movie is 2 hours and 20 minutes long.
This play, yes.
So, what did you think of the musical?
Well, it's different. They changed a lot of things.
Are these changes for the better or for the worse?
Overall, I'm going to have to say for the worse.
Is it because you somehow wound up with an extra 40 minutes on the movie?
Yeah, the length was really bad. We did talk about how bad the length was. But
it's as I've pointed out to you.
It doesn't tell a story as well, I find. I think that some of the songs were good. I did like some of the songs.
But because it was a bootleg, you couldn't really hear it that well.
Yeah, it was like...
There's one character that in what we had watched where
one of the girls,
you could not hear anything she ever said because her voice was always so high, and she was so high that it would distort super,
and it would match up perfectly with the music, so you couldn't hear what the fuck she was saying.
But that's what happens when you have to watch a bootleg, and come
on, guys, release a video version of this already.
It's so my stance on Broadway bootlegs is it has to be known is that for a play like this, it's no longer has any productions inexplicably. It's canceled before it was supposed to do with their national tour. I don't mind there being a bootleg out there. I don't mind. It's nobody's ever going to see this. This was critically acclaimed. It may not have been award winning, but it was a good musical. It was a fun musical. It's just that it was really long.
It felt like a fanfic.
But is it really a fanfic if it's written by the original screenwriter for the movie?
A fanfic of his own thing.
And my headcanon for this is that it's Groundhog's Day, but it's an alternate universe version of it. It's like what if Phil had stayed in this loop longer to the point where he forgot everything and started thinking he was reliving it all over again, and things were different because
Rita's black now.
Yeah, and Larry's not a scumbag and Indian has barely no lines.
And has hair.
And goes out with Nancy at the end, it's implied.
Uh-huh. And Hallway Ghost is like a hippie.
Hallway Ghost is
fat hippie.
Is a chubby guy in a red Russian looking mafioso tracksuit. Mm-hmm. I really want one of those Adidas all red tracksuits.
It would suit you.
It would suit me, wouldn't it? It would look like a freaking mobster. It's yeah, I could wear that. Mm-hmm. It would also look like Santa Claus, so maybe not. I have enough white hair as is. Yeah. Where was I going? I like stories.
We're talking about how some of the cast members look a little different, but that wasn't too bad.
That doesn't bother me because it's stage. It's not.
Yeah, it's stage.
It's an adaptation of something
even
else.
The guy who played Phil looked way younger. He was
they seem to have aged him all back to what Danny Rubin's initial drafts were, where he was a younger, fresher face, but not too fresh face because this was
the hideous visage of Bill Murray.
Visage, yeah, it's not Bill Murray trying to play 10 years younger when he's in his 40s, and it's doesn't really work.
This guy's face was actually quite pleasant to look at, unlike Bill Murray's. Sorry, Bill.
Yeah, he's definitely more attractive by comparison. But what I was going to say is that when I first heard about this musical, I went, "Oh, cool! They have original Broadway cast recording. I'm going to listen to this thing." Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it. I listened to it maybe 2 or 3 times, but there was never any point where any songs stood out to me. It's I couldn't visualize it. I couldn't visualize it. It's just okay. It's just music, whatever. It's Anna. But then, while watching this, I'm like, okay, no, actually, Hope, which we'll talk about again in a second,
God, not Hope,
was a really good song. That was an amazing performance. Except that's where the meme for the whole thing we keep saying of we're gonna pause here.
All actors, please leave.
All actors, please leave the stage. And then
it was disturbing. Now, the first thing I'm going to say, let's
and it was optimal Groundhog Day.
I know that it kind of does fit this play of all plays.
Because they're actors and they've been performing this over and over again, they immediately start the song
Reset
over,
everything back
reset everything, and everybody moves the exact same way we just saw.
Yeah, it was so weird. For a second, I was looking at Randy. I'm like, is that part of the play?
I'm like, that could
Randy
be part
had
of
a bewildered look on his face. You should have seen it. He was like, eyes wide.
Oh, like,
blank. He's like, and then he looks it up. He's like, oh, okay, that was a glitch. That was a technical glitch.
Yeah, but
wow. Yeah, sorry to, because again we're talking about something visual that you can't see. During that song, it's like Phil wakes up.
The stage direction was phenomenal.
Phil wakes up. He gets out of bed. He walks past a group of people. Takes the groundhog head out of the.
We'll come back around to that. We have to explain it to you.
Yeah, there was a big groundhog mascot. Takes the head out of the guy's hand, puts it on, walks up,
kills himself.
Does the whole thing where he kills himself. Wakes up again. Goes into the whole thing. He gets to the scene where he's supposed to drop the
toaster
into the water, which of course Randy believes would not work unless that house is horribly out of code, which it probably is.
That was one of the trivia things or the goofs on IMDb that I always
should have been listening to. Who the fuck is going to be listening to this and hasn't heard that one? Anyway,
me.
So he does it. He goes into the bathtub, and then like he's standing in the bathtub, and all of a sudden like the lights, the house lights come on. And a voice comes over the speaker and says, "All actors, please leave the stage."
No, this is a good place to stop. All actors, please leave the stage.
He said this is a good place to stop?
This is a good place to stop. All actors, please leave the stage.
Oh, wow. That adds another level of it to me, because why would he say this is a good place to stop?
It's like, if it wouldn't... I'm not going to pause this because we're nearing our end, and there's still a couple of things I want to talk about. But it's like...
We haven't talked about this at all yet.
I know. It's like, it's been 10 minutes, and it's like, but
okay.
yeah.
So what
and other couple of good songs.
What do you think the significance of that was?
It was just, it's literally, it's like, okay, we need to stop somewhere. This is a good place to stop, because it's about to be a change. And so it's like, okay, this is a good place to stop, not too far into the song, and maybe the thing's not working. So it's like, okay, no, this is a place to stop. All the actors, please leave the stage.
Wow.
Well, everything is reset.
So yeah, we think there was a technical glitch in something,
because the stage...
This play has a rotating stage on it.
Which I guess, as I was telling him earlier, it seems to be very common with a lot of musicals in recent years where they have a rotating stage, things move. Yeah. But the stage design and the like everything about it, like the production on this was phenomenal. It's like the car, you get a car chase scene. That was cool.
That was really cool. It looked like a little Light Bright show with
a little Light Bright show,
toy cars,
or the giant, creepy-looking dollar store hedgehog walking around the stage. Groundhog, yeah. With a giant flail, and then to symbolize the blizzard coming in, you have a little car on the little rotating thing, and it's like it goes forward, and the groundhog walks up to it with a shovel and just dumps snow on him.
Yeah, I should clarify for those of you who aren't picturing this. There's a man in like what looks like a
dollar store groundhog suit
that he bought, and it's like a you know that material. It's like a carpet material or something.
Yeah,
like a mascot you would see at an amusement park, and he's wearing like that.
No,
but it doesn't fit him very well.
It's like a high school mascot.
But I mean, like the material, like the furry. Let's face it, it's a fursuit. The fursuit material, it looks like it's really low quality. Like it doesn't fit the guy too well. It looks like a carpet draped over him, and then he's got like a big groundhog ball head on his head.
I kind of want that costume for Halloween now.
And he just looks like a weird, sad, depressed version of a groundhog mascot. And we were like, it looks like something a serial killer would wear when he's hunting people, and just to creep them out because it looks so disturbing and uncanny.
Yeah, and like I said, it's like you get some good use out of him. Just like I said,
he plays the drum at some point.
Yeah, he plays the drum during a song called "Philandering," which is actually takes place at the end of the movie when Phil's going out to do all his tasks, like all his good deeds that he does every day.
Yeah.
And he's playing the drum to keep the
That was a good song. I liked.
Yeah, it's like it was just it wasn't a singing song. It was a dance number.
Tap dance.
Yeah, it was a tap dance number, and they were supposed to be like the ticking of the clock.
I gotta be honest with you. I cannot remember most of the stuff that happened at the beginning of this play, so it's gonna be very end.
It's because at the beginning of the play, it was just a lot of it was like a lot of repetition. It was a lot of like, okay, we're showing you that this is the repeating of it, and the good songs only actually kind of kicked in around. I want to say.
Okay, Randy, I'm gonna have to go through a few things.
Nobody cares with Ralph and Gus.
Number one thing I want to say is that I already forgot what I was going to say. Well, anyway, the first thing I'm going to say real quickly is that the way this was shot, the bootleg was shot, it looks like there was two different bootlegs spliced together.
That's what it is.
It looks like there's two different audience spots from the audience. The first half it's like from the right, and the second half is from the left. That's when and the second half is when that technical glitch happens that we talked about. The other thing I want to say is that this is a bit different in story-wise. It does start like on February 2nd, so there's no first day of them traveling there.
Yeah.
But it does start on his first repetition of February 2nd. It's not like in media res like the original script where he's already been doing this.
And we get more information about the inner lives of the characters in the town, but
a few of them, yeah.
But there's differences to them. Like we find out about that Ned's in this version of the reality is a widower with like 5 or 6 kids.
It's like they're trying to make some sympathy
for the devil.
I
was trying to work back to that joke.
Randy looked at me and he's like, "Would you say they're trying to make?" I'm like, "Yes, Randy, we get it." But
you have to do it in the right ways. You have to go, "Would you say that they're trying to make us have sympathy for the devil?" That was my Warren Bedford voice for some reason.
You went back into that old character. But yeah. So there was a few things. Also, Nancy has like a song out of nowhere for no fucking reason, and it goes no. She doesn't get up like.
Yeah, there's no line for that.
It's like they brought in Nancy. Like we see the same thing in the beginning. Like Phil does the thing where he manipulates her into a date. Then like after
he has an orgy.
It's like at the beginning of like Act 2, right? When she comes back, like Nancy just appears by herself on stage. Well, I mean, there's like people in the background, but she's in the spotlight. She sings like a whole monologue.
Yeah, the song is called "Playing Nancy," and the whole entire song is just her talking about how she's always playing a role and she never gets to be herself. And it doesn't really do anything for the show.
Song, it felt like she was going to become a main character in the second act.
Yeah, and then she disappeared.
I thought we were going to get a whole Nancy B story. And then it went nowhere. And then all that happens at the end is Phil kind of sets her up with Larry. That's it. And she doesn't even talk again.
Though talking about Larry, that great joke of like Larry, it's like that famous scene from the movie that we call his features. Where he's like he's giving him like the donut, and it happens in the plane. It's like, oh hey, it's almost like you have forgotten about me. Because we only heard him say one line earlier on in the movie.
And there was another Larry thing at the beginning.
Where he goes...
but there was another Larry reference at the beginning that we've talked about last week, I think, when they said... they were singing in the diner, and he's like, "Where's Larry?" She's like, "Oh, he's just loading up the van." He's like, "Oh, I'd help, but..." He makes a joke like, "I'd help, but it's against the union rules to help them," or something like that.
Yeah, it's like... It's filling in little holes in our knowledge, but in a weird way, because it's not... It's like looking through a Funhouse mirror version of Groundhog Day.
Yeah, and another thing, too, I'll throw a few things in there, too. A few characters were named that were never named before.
Old Man Jansen, Pops, the homeless man.
The guy is named Jansen. The Holloway Ghost got a name.
Chubby. They call him Chubby, but his name's John.
And also Mrs. Lancaster got a first name.
Mabel. That's the perfect old lady name, Mabel.
Yeah, and... Oh, yeah, and then a couple of characters were added in. Like, in the scene with Mrs. Lancaster, there's this, like, couple who look like...
And I don't know who their names are.
One of them has a blue...
suit. Okay, so this is...
Suit, and one of them has a pink
one of my notes I wrote was for you, and you had written, does Groundhog Day the musical, is it the same as The Grinch? Mm-hmm. So elaborate on that.
Yeah, I was going to say it set... Like, there was something weird about the way the characters in this thing looked and acted, and it kind of felt very like Dr. Seussian, like the Who's, like they acted like Who's. If you ever seen like that Grinch movie, like they act like the Who's.
Yeah, all very theatrical, like almost as if they're on stage. But no, they're very.
Their voices are like, hey, like
yeah. There's a lot of people
cheer and yell, and it's like they're acting like they're like in a kids show or something. It was so weird, and they wear bright colored clothing. It was like a cartoon, like a human cartoon. And yeah, so there's these two characters. And they take some of Mrs. Lancaster's lines in the movie.
Yeah, every time, and one of them has a bad cold.
Mm-hmm. That was the girl who has the really high pitched voice.
That you can't hear what she's saying on it. Yeah.
And there was another scene too where other characters took people's lines that I can't remember. What it was.
It's the diner scene. Ralph and Gus are off in a corner, so Ralph gets some of his lines, but then the cops take some of the lines, and they added the cops to it.
The cop is yelling to a megaphone. He's like,
there's two of them. There's one yelling to a megaphone, and then there's the older cop who keeps losing his gun, who I think is Roy's father, because of the funny gag of like it's like. And Roy's gay, and he always bets against the Eagles, and he goes, "Pops, I'm sorry," and I was like, "You do what? You vote? You You cheer against the Eagles?
Yeah.
And it's like, you're thinking he's going to say it because it's gay, but no, it's...
The old Simpsons fake you out gag.
Yeah.
Actually, we had one of those in this, didn't it? Wasn't there a fake out gag? Remember?
Yeah.
I said that's so Simpsonian. I remember saying that.
Yeah, and I don't remember...
It was like a fake out. It was like, you think it was going to be this, then it was like, bam!
Oh, I have to talk about the scene in this movie that it's going to live with me to the rest of my life because of how funny it is.
Please.
Because we're over time here, but I have to talk about it.
Please.
So they did a really elaborate car chase scene. So they're not going to do that again.
No.
So instead of
the car chase scene where Phil kidnaps the
instead of kidnapping the groundhog,
yep.
he grabs
the gun.
So we're shown early on that the cop's holster's broken and the gun keeps falling.
Yeah.
So at the end of his speech to Rita on his darkest day, like before he's going to steal the groundhog, he's saying things like, "And Phil will see the darkness. The darkness will come." And he goes, "I've come to the end of me, Rita. It's time for the end." And he pulls out a gun, holds up a cop, and then runs up on stage and holds the groundhog down as he puts the gun to his...
This time the groundhog was a doll.
As a doll. Pulls the trigger, kills the groundhog, turns, puts the gun to his head, click, and then cut to black.
Yeah.
And then... Beep, 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 beep.
Yeah, that's how they did Suicide.
And then that led to hope.
That was led right before the scene that got...
Like I said, it's like that was just like bizarre and it worked so well. I guess I should call out some of the standout songs. Like I said, it's very... the opening numbers aren't really that fun, but...
This is very second half heavy show, I found.
Yeah, but I enjoyed Nobody Cares with Ralph and Gus. I like Ralph and Gus. It was kind of a fun...
Yeah, again, Ralph and Gus got like one scene. And
they got one scene,
they
but
in the rest of it
but they were pretty big in that one scene. And it was a catchy number, a little country western. And then you got One Day by Rita, which was good. But it slowly got better throughout. And then they keep reprising that over and over again.
I would like to point out something that this time along... Oh yeah, Debbie. Debbie got her last name this time.
Oh, crap.
What was it? Do you remember Debbie's last name?
No, I don't.
Because it's like, in the movie, there's always like Debbie and Ralph Kleiser. But they're not married yet.
Yeah, it's Fred Kleiser.
Debbie and Fred Kleiser,
yeah.
sorry. But in this one, was it a Johnson or Jones?
Yeah, it was Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson. So the big names that we got is that Holy Guy's ghost name is John and Debbie's last name is Johnson.
Yep.
What a great writing. And also she was there was something else about.
And then
and Debbie and Fred this time are like members of the band.
Yeah, like of the marching band, and they.
I think they just didn't have enough actors, so they had to like double them.
No,
up
that's how you do it in the musicals.
Yeah.
That you have the characters double up, and you change the things around. You have to have it as a tight thing. So going back to the musical, it's like talking about how like back heavy it is. It's like almost every song in the second act.
Oh, sorry, and they're also the couple who ask, "Hey, aren't you Phil Connor?"
Yeah, instead of it being the director's niece.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the second act, it's like I said, it's very top heavy. You get Hope, which was actually surprisingly a really good song, like seeing it on the stage version. And then you get Everything About You, where that's Phil's I Am a God Day, and he's singing to Rita about how I know everything about you, and that song's really good. Mm-hmm. And then she's singing back to him, If I Had My Time Again. And that was a really good one leading to the carnival.
That was a nice scene.
Yeah, and that was a really well done scene. It's like just constantly building up.
I almost felt like I was watching a movie at that point. I was like, wow.
And then it reprises back to Everything About You, and then to Shockers of Shock, and a song that was really good, but I don't think I'll remember it as much, was Night Will Come, which is after it's revealed that Ned is a widow, and then you find...
That was the depressing one.
Yeah, and then you have Phil... trying to save the old man, as in the background, Ned, who's the devil's waiting for him to die, is singing about death and how some things are inevitable. Inevitable. And then at the end of that song, Phil just kind of walks off the stage with him, like, "Come on, buddy, let's go." Mm-hmm. And I guess with that, that was our 30th episode.
No, we got
you want more?
Yeah, because they changed a lot of things, like, this time around, especially the ending. Now, I want to talk about the ending. Did you think this ending was better or worse than the original? Because in this ending, I'll just go over real quick. Instead, Phil and Rita have like their date there at the actual bachelor auction ball thing.
Yeah, because the auction was to win a dance, not to win them for the evening.
They changed it to a dance from a And also, again, we pointed out, Rita doesn't really have that much time to fall in love with Phil. Same thing. It's just one speech.
No, she goes. No, okay, yeah. So
The only
in the first act, she literally yells at him that you can't fall in love in just one day, and then she falls in love with them at the end in just one speech.
Day. In
just
speech,
one speech.
Again, the speech got her. Just like this. It's a different speech this time, but it's like, oh, there's so many heartbeats going on in this day or whatever. And so many things you can do and all the different Fibonacci, whatever. And she falls in love with him after that. And then he like does the same thing where he runs away and he does all this stuff.
And leading to Philanthropy, the song Philanthropy, yes.
But this time he also brings her lunch. So I guess they had one more interaction. And then again, she doesn't see him again until that night. And and he bought her boots.
But, yeah, because from a conversation they had previously that we couldn't hear very well. Mm-hmm. But part of it, though, it's not just one day. Because remember, so in this version of the reality...
Are you claiming that she retains memories?
No. In this version of the reality, she and him met once before during a flooding story. Yeah, he was kind of a dick then. But this time around, they didn't meet again until the second day at the Gobbler's Knob.
And also, there was a little recurring theme where she keeps saying, "Oh, they told me about you."
And they told you, yeah. But her impression of him when she first meets him is that, wow, he's a really nice guy. He's very smart. He's very he's very kind. He's humble.
Weird this time around because there was another scene earlier where she says
it made more sense.
Hi, I'm Rita. So like it almost implied,
it's like, do you remember me?
It almost implied like they didn't travel.
Yeah, they didn't travel together. It's like they told him
they're just meeting there.
They told him at the beginning of the play that you're going to be traveling down in the van, and it's like it was him and Larry, which we don't get to see. But she went down ahead, I guess, to scout or something.
Oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that because it was so garbled.
Oh, because he had it in his purse.
Yeah,
the camera in the purse.
That was the part where the camera's in the purse, so I didn't get that. I was like, what the fuck? How are they just meeting here?
But that's why. So he never meets her until they do tell her that.
Except they did meet once before, but they forgot.
No,
it was like a while ago,
he's like the flood story.
But sorry, go on.
I forgot what I was going. You go.
Okay,
finish.
I'm gonna go. So then they end up same thing as the original movie. He wakes up in bed on February 3rd, and then this time, but Rita's not in bed with him. She's like she's in the bathroom, and she comes out of it. And then, but I thought the ending this time was weaker. Because in the original movie, as you know, they go outside.
I don't know. I've never seen the movie.
I'm talking to
Is it good?
One listener.
Is it a good movie?
No, I'm talking to our one listener. He might not have seen it. But they go outside after presumably Randy believes they have sex. They go outside and he's like, let's live here. And then he picks her up and carries her over the fence that was frozen. And then they like run down the street all laughing and giddy. In this version, though, Larry comes to pick them up, and he like yells something out the window, and then to him.
There's a nice back and forth that's comedic. Like I've been looking for Rita everywhere. I haven't been able to find her. And Rita's in the background going, "No, don't tell him." And he goes, "No, she's right in here." And the guy goes, "Oh, okay, that makes sense. That's kind of unethical, though."
Yeah, and then and then they go outside, and this time instead of saying "let's live here," what happens? Oh, the sun comes out, and they say, "Let's look at the sunrise."
No, you missed. You missed the buried the
you
thing.
Tell me, Randy.
So all that stuff happens, and he's getting ready to go. We can leave. Let's get out of here. And she goes, "Oh, okay. So was this just basically implying was this just a one night stand type of thing?" And he's like, "No, it wasn't." And she goes, "Can't we just spend a day together?" He goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "I want to show you something."
Yeah.
And as we've seen in his previous dates with her in various realities, and the good ones is that he likes to show her the things that he likes about the town. Mm-hmm. So what does he do? In this universe, the sun hasn't come out before 7 o'clock in Punxatawney. So he brings them to the highest point in town where they can overlook like this beautiful vista, and they watch the sun coming up together.
Because in this universe, the sun was out in February 2nd. It was overcast. And he didn't see the sun in years.
Yeah, on February 3rd, it's the dawn. He's wanted to see the sun, and he spent the day with her. But they went there, and they watched the sun in a romantic thing rise.
Sitting on a bench.
They sit on the bench. And
facing away from the audience.
Facing away from the audience. And they're not initially sitting together. Like, they're not close.
Yeah.
And then as the sunrise comes up, they start snuggling. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like,
I know what. I just watched it.
I know, Bobby. It's like Groundhog Day the musical. Our podcast is running long.
Okay, what did you think was better, the movie or the play version of the ending? Then,
I honestly kind of prefer the play's ending more because for the one reason of A, it gave Larry something more to do.
Yeah.
and because I found it more of a better sentiment than Bill Murray just improvising a bunch of those lines at the end of it as he does.
Let's live here.
Yeah, let's live here.
Carrying her over.
But we'll rent to begin. We'll rent to start.
Yeah, we'll rent to start.
Yeah, it's like, and then them running down the paradise, like, because it's like nobody's out there. They're the only two people in that world. And this one, you see, no, he's still connected to the community.
Almost like being in love.
It's like, I preferred the ending to the musical to that.
Wow. Okay, well, difference of opinion there, because I thought this was a weak ending. I was like, really? The sun didn't come up? Now you're going to watch the sun go up? Okay. All right. Even though in the actual movie, as we've already established, that fucking sun was out every morning at 7 a.m. already.
Which is not
how
weather works.
Breaking the laws of all physics and whatever you want to call it. That the sun it would not be like noon brightness at fucking 7 a.m. But we talked about that like 20 episodes ago, so I'm not going to reprise what's already been discussed. Yeah, I guess that's it.
Our next thing, instead of watching something, we should re-listen to all 30 of these episodes before our next podcast.
No, and all 52. Wait till we get to all 52, and then we're like, oh, because I am listening to another podcast right now. I don't know if I want to name them. Maybe I'll name them off the air if you want. But these guys, like, they're playing a video game, and so the way they did it is they recorded themselves playing, and then they went back, and where they were editing it, they were commenting on their comments. So it would keep cutting back and forth between them playing live and then them being like, "What the fuck are we talking about here, man?" Like,
okay, that's an interesting way of doing things.
So we could listen to our own podcast and be like, Randy, what are we talking about?
Okay, and with that, this was another exciting edition of Groundcast Day.
Yay.
The Groundhog Day Podcast.
It's now the one and only Groundhog Day Podcast.
I don't know. I don't know what our podcast is called ever since we added the colon.
Yeah.
Bye. So 30's Watch. Goodbye. He's Bobby. I'm Randy.
Yeah.
And this is actually like 37 minutes.
All right. Bye.
Goodbye.